It looks like a little tongue, and you flatten out this edge where you're going to connect it. When you get connecting tools, so I'm going to do that to all this clay. Now, if you got a smaller piece of clay, make a thinner handle, a smaller handle. Make the tongue the same length, so that you got to make the tongue all the same length so that you can grab onto it. They got to be thick enough to where you're going to stretch these thumbs out. I'm going to show you how to stretch the clay out. That's less clay. I made a smaller one, but it's got enough to where I can grab on it with my hand and wet it and grab it with wet hands, and it'll stretch it out. But you connect it to the cup first. This is called a pull handle. Another small strappy handle. This one is a small piece of clay. I'll show you this tongue also when I get it done. There's a little tongue, wider than it is thick, flat side on one end. Kind of helps to kind of make them into a short coil first in your hand. That helps and makes it a lot faster. You want it about a half-inch thick. You want your tongue to be about a half-inch thick, like that. About a half-inch thick and as wide as you want the handle to be, with a flat end and just an end that's not too bumpy on the other side. Notice how I smoothed it out somewhat. It's going to get a lot slicker when I pull on it, but you don't want big lumps to pull on. Like where it's, if you can see that, where it has little creases, it's good to just smooth those out if it's near the connection. Anyway, so now I'll get a connector tool. Just a bunch of wires that I used to scratch the surface. Get this bucket of water right below the computer here, and first thing is scratch the top area, and you scratch about the size of the connector of the clay that you're going to connect to it, and make sure you scratch it up real well. I'll show you the scratch marks. Then scratch a spot where you want the bottom of your handle to connect. See those scratch marks? Scratch them good and deep, and then once they're good and deep and scratched, you just dip your finger in the water with just a droplet or two, just 2 or 3 droplets. You don't need a lot of water. Put 2 or 3 droplets. If you put a lot, it streaks down the cup and it makes it harder to work. So take your tongue, stick it to the wet spot that you scratched already, and you don't have to scratch the clay. It's already wet, softer clay than the cup. You just had to do it to the cup because the cup was dry. But the soft clay will stick right to wet clay, slimy clay. And so it sticks to that slimy spot, and you just smooth it out to the cup all the way around. You smooth out that connection. You don't want an L-shaped connection. You want a U-shaped connection. See, like little tiny U shapes right down there, or V shapes. You don't really want a V. You want a U, something round on the bottom. Okay, so it looks like it's part of the cup. Then you wet one hand and keep the other hand dry that's holding the cup, and you just grab the clay and pull it down without squeezing it too hard. Just do a light squeeze, just a light squeeze, and just keep doing it. Do it very slowly. Try not to move a lot of clay at one time when you're a beginner, because you have more control when you just move the clay slowly. So stretch it out. You want to stretch so that you want to be careful. You have to squeeze evenly so that you squeeze where it's thicker and not too much where it's thin. Kind of let off in the thin areas and squeeze more in the thick areas. You have to control your squeeze, just like on the wheel when you do this. Once it gets to be about that long, you bend it down and press it to the wet spot. And then oops, press it to the wet spot, and then just clean up your connection. So I'm taking that little bit off there, smoothing it out on this side, smoothing it out on that side. I make sure there's not a little bump at the bottom of it where it could be sharp or anything like that. I smooth it all out. See how it's connected and it's smoothed out? And I leave a crease right there. I don't smooth that part of the connection on the bottom to give it a more of a fancy look. So as the top, it's uniformly connected all the way around, and at the bottom you can see it's just attached. So you see the clay-like nature and the soft nature of the handle.